there, and welcome back. Today, we're diving into a topic that can be tough to face, but is absolutely necessary to talk about. Knowing when to walk away from a relationship, even if it's with a close friend or a family member. We all want to hold on to the people we care about, but sometimes those relationships do more harm than good. Whether it's a friendship that drains you emotionally or a family bond that feels more like a burden than a source of support. Staying in toxic relationships out of fear can take a serious toll on your mental and emotional well-being. So how do you know when it's time to step back or even cut ties completely? In this episode, we'll go through 9 clear signs that it might be time to let go, even if the person in question has been a big part of your life. And trust me, I know it's not easy. But recognizing these signs can help you protect your peace, set healthy boundaries, and make space for relationships that actually uplift you. Before we dive in, if you enjoy conversations about personal and emotional growth, make sure to follow this podcast so you never miss an episode. Now let's get into it. Sign number 1. The relationship feels like a never-ending mind game. Let's talk about one of the biggest red flags in any relationship: manipulation. If you constantly feel like your thoughts, emotions, or even basic decisions are being questioned or dismissed, that's a huge warning sign. Manipulation happens when someone twists your reality, making you second-guess yourself. They might downplay your opinions, invalidate your feelings, or even make you feel like you're overreacting when you express concerns. It's that subtle but powerful way of making you feel like your perspective is always wrong, even when it's completely valid. And here's the thing, manipulators are masters of control. They might use guilt trips, intimidation, or passive-aggressive remarks to make you doubt your own values, pushing you to the point where you're constantly seeking their approval. Over time, this can chip away at your confidence, making you feel small, uncertain, and emotionally drained. But relationships should never be about control. They should be about support, trust, and mutual respect. If you find yourself constantly bending over backward just to avoid conflict, or if you're sacrificing your happiness just to keep the peace, it might be time to ask yourself, is this relationship really worth it? And that brings us to the second major red flag, a total lack of support. Sign number 2, you're always facing life alone. A strong, healthy relationship, whether it's with a friend, a partner, or even family, should be built on mutual support. That means encouragement, comfort, and having each other's backs when times get tough. But what if, every time you're struggling, you feel like you're completely on your own? Lack of support is one of the clearest signs that a relationship may not be as solid as you think. When things are good, they might be around, but the moment you need real emotional or practical help, they're nowhere to be found. Maybe they downplay your struggles, change the subject, or make everything about them instead of listening to you. Over time, this leaves you feeling frustrated, unimportant, and completely alone, even when you're technically in a relationship. Here's the truth. In a healthy relationship, support goes both ways. You lift each other up, face challenges together, and genuinely care about each other's well-being. If you're always the one offering help but never receiving it, or if you feel like your problems don't matter to them, it's time to take a step back and ask yourself, is this relationship actually adding to my life, or is it just draining me? Feeling unsupported can lead to emotional exhaustion and deep isolation, even when you're surrounded by people. And honestly, you deserve better. You deserve relationships that make you feel valued, respected, and supported. And that brings us to the next major red flag, when negativity outweighs positivity. Sign number 3, the endless stream of complaints. We all need to vent sometimes. Life isn't perfect, and everyone has their fair share of frustrations. But if you're constantly around someone who never has anything positive to say, it can start to feel like you're carrying the weight of their negativity on your shoulders. Being surrounded by nonstop complaining isn't just annoying. It can drain your energy, darken your mood, and even reshape how you see the world. Over time, this endless negativity can become overwhelming, making it harder for you to stay optimistic, motivated, or even enjoy the things you once loved. Think about it. Every conversation feels like a storm of grievances. They criticize everything, blame others, and rarely, if ever, look for solutions. And the worst part? They don't just bring down their own mood, they bring you down with them. This kind of emotional environment can make it difficult to have meaningful, genuine conversations. Instead of feeling heard or valued, you might feel weighed down, like their negativity is seeping into your own thoughts. Over time, this can take a serious toll on your mental clarity and overall happiness. Now, this isn't about cutting people off just because they're going through a rough patch. Everyone has bad days. But if their entire personality seems to revolve around complaints, without any effort to change or improve their situation, it may be time to set some boundaries. Because at the end of the day, your peace of mind is priceless. And speaking of emotional exhaustion, that brings us to the next major red flag: when a relationship leaves you feeling completely drained. Sign number 4, you always feel drained after being around them. Have you ever spent time with someone and walked away feeling completely exhausted, like they just sucked the life right out of you? If that sounds familiar, it might be time to rethink the role this person plays in your life. When a relationship is one-sided, it can drain your emotional energy without giving anything back. You find yourself constantly offering support, listening, and making an effort, but when you need the same in return, crickets. Over time, this imbalance can lead to frustration, resentment, and worst of all, complete emotional burnout. Healthy relationships should be mutually uplifting. They should leave you feeling energized, valued, and appreciated, not like you just ran a marathon without water. But if every interaction feels like a chore, and you're always the one carrying the emotional weight, you have to ask yourself, is this really worth it? The truth is, your energy is precious. If a relationship is consistently leaving you drained instead of fulfilled, it might be time to step back and prioritize your well-being. You deserve connections that add to your life, not deplete it. And that leads us straight into another critical red flag: the absence of trust. Because without trust, is there even a relationship at all? Sign number 5, when trust is gone, so is the relationship. Trust, it's the foundation of any strong relationship. Whether it's a friendship, a romantic partnership, or even a family bond, trust is what holds everything together. But when that trust is broken, everything starts to fall apart. A relationship without trust is like a house built on sand, unstable, fragile, and doomed to collapse. Doubt seeps in, every interaction feels uncertain, and suddenly, you're questioning everything. Are they being honest? Can I rely on them? Do they really have my back? When those questions take over, it's a clear sign that something is seriously wrong. Broken trust comes in many forms: secrets revealed, promises broken, backstabbing disguised as harmless gossip. And the damage? It's deep. It leaves scars that take time, sometimes a lifetime, to heal. Without trust, there's no real connection, just a constant fear of being let down again. The worst part? A lack of trust forces you to hide parts of yourself. You start holding back, second-guessing your words, and walking on eggshells because you're not sure where you stand. This destroys any sense of authenticity, spontaneity, and emotional safety in the relationship. So here's the hard truth. If someone repeatedly breaks your trust and shows no effort to rebuild it, you have every right to walk away. Recognizing that some people are simply unreliable is a painful but necessary step in protecting your own peace of mind. Sometimes, the healthiest and bravest choice is to cut ties completely and move forward without them. And that brings us to another warning sign: when negativity in the relationship becomes overwhelming. Sign number 6, it's always about them, never about you. We all know someone like this. The kind of person who turns every conversation into a highlight reel of their own life. No matter what's going on with you, they somehow make it about them. At first, you might brush it off as confidence or enthusiasm, but over time, you start to notice a pattern. They dominate conversations, constantly praise themselves, and rarely, if ever, ask how you're doing. Your thoughts, your experiences, your achievements, barely acknowledged. It's like you're just a background character in their story. Being around someone who is obsessed with their own success while completely ignoring yours can be frustrating and even damaging to your self-esteem. When someone refuses to make space for you in a conversation, it's a clear sign that they don't truly value your presence. And let's be real, a healthy relationship should feel like a two-way street. You should feel heard, supported, and valued, not like you're fighting for a moment to speak. If you find yourself constantly listening but never being listened to, it might be time to step back and ask, is this relationship actually fulfilling, or is it just another stage for their ego? You deserve relationships where your voice matters. If you're stuck in a dynamic where you always feel invisible, maybe it's time to walk away and seek connections that bring mutual respect, balance, and real appreciation. And speaking of imbalanced relationships, that leads us straight into our next red flag, the one-sided relationship. Sign number 7. The relationship feels completely one-sided. Ever feel like you're in a conversation, but you might as well not be there at all? Like the other person is just talking at you instead of with you? If that sounds familiar, you might be stuck in a one-sided relationship, and that's a huge red flag. A healthy relationship, whether it's a friendship, a partnership, or even a family bond, should feel mutual. That means both people have a voice, both perspectives matter, and both feel valued. Conversations should be an exchange, where each person listens, engages, and actually cares about what the other has to say. But in a one-sided relationship, that balance is completely off. One person takes up all the space, talking endlessly, dismissing your thoughts, and showing little to no interest in your feelings. Over time, this can make you feel ignored, disrespected, and even invisible. So what can you do? The first step is recognizing the problem. If you constantly feel like your voice doesn't matter, it's important to address it. Try having an honest conversation. Let them know you need a relationship that feels more balanced, where both of you can share openly and be heard. But here's the hard truth. If they refuse to change, if they continue to brush you off, dominate conversations, or ignore your needs, then it might be time to step back. Because at the end of the day, a relationship that only serves one person isn't really a relationship at all. And speaking of setting boundaries, let's talk about the next major red flag. When someone consistently disrespects your limits. Sign number 8. They keep disrespecting your boundaries. We all have personal limits, whether it's physical space, emotional needs, or personal values. And those boundaries deserve to be respected. But what happens when someone constantly ignores them, making you feel uncomfortable, pressured, or even trapped in situations you didn't agree to? Boundary violations come in many forms. Maybe they ask intrusive questions, push you to do things you're not comfortable with, invade your personal space, or dismiss your feelings when you express discomfort. Whatever the case, the result is the same. You feel unheard, powerless, and emotionally drained. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about protecting your well-being. When someone truly values your relationship, they'll respect your limits, not constantly test them. But if someone regularly oversteps and refuses to listen, it's not just frustrating. It can actually be toxic and damaging to your mental health. So, what can you do? Start by being clear and firm about your boundaries. Let them know what's okay and what isn't. And just as important, set consequences for when they don't respect those limits. But here's the bottom line. If you've communicated your boundaries over and over again, and they still keep violating them, that's a serious problem. No one deserves to feel controlled, manipulated, or disrespected in any relationship. If a person refuses to acknowledge your limits, you have every right to walk away and prioritize your own peace of mind. And speaking of respect, that brings us to another major red flag, when mutual respect is missing from the relationship altogether. Sign number 9, when respect is no longer there. Respect, it's the foundation of every healthy relationship. Whether it's a friend, a partner, or even a family member, mutual respect means treating each other with kindness, consideration, and dignity. It's about valuing the other person's thoughts, feelings, and boundaries. But when respect is missing, that's a clear sign the relationship has taken a harmful turn. A lack of respect can show up in many ways, being dismissed, ignored, or belittled. Sometimes it's subtle, like constant interruptions or a refusal to take your concerns seriously. Other times it's more obvious, like sarcasm, insults, or even outright aggressive behavior. No matter how it manifests, a disrespectful dynamic can erode your self-esteem, create emotional distress, and make you feel insecure in the relationship. And let's be honest, once respect is gone, trust and intimacy aren't far behind. Without respect, it's nearly impossible to maintain a meaningful, healthy connection. If you've repeatedly tried to communicate your feelings and set boundaries, yet the other person still refuses to change, you have to ask yourself, is this relationship worth holding on to? Because the truth is, you deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift you, not tear you down. Final thoughts. Protecting your peace. Realizing that you need to cut ties with someone, especially a friend or family member, is never easy. It's painful, it's complicated, and sometimes it feels impossible. But at the end of the day, your mental and emotional well-being should always come first. Letting go of toxic relationships isn't about being harsh or unforgiving. It's about choosing yourself. It's about recognizing when a relationship is doing more harm than good and having the courage to walk away so you can make space for healthier, more fulfilling connections. So, if you're stuck in a relationship that's draining you, manipulating you, or making you feel small, take a step back, reflect, and remember, you are worthy of relationships that bring you support, inspiration, and personal growth. And that's a wrap for today's video. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on new content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.